Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is your AstroShaman Pernell Bobby, and we are here generating a world of harmony, leveraging astrology to do it. You see it right down there. Our members met last Sunday, so we're actually not going to meet again until February. Don't let me poop out of my booty cheeks. February 19th. All right. So generally it's the first and third Sunday. So February 19th is our next meeting from the time you see this video. Today we are actually here to talk about the Leo full moon. Okay. It is at 16 degrees, a degree of privacy, emotionality, or the ability to emote to oneself. All right. And so we put Leo, a shiny object like the sun, which gives life to each and everything, in a position of privacy. This is our reawakening, okay, to what does it mean to validate yourself? What does it mean to step away from the family unconscious patterns and conditionings, especially at an emotional level, to essentially avoid criticism, to take criticism so strongly that it personally attacks our identity to a point where we essentially choose to stay private and not shine in the world, not give in the world what is unique about us, only to us. So when I look at Cancer or the 16th degree, it is about really staying in an unconscious position. A lot of times, Cancer is operating from a place where it's not fully aware of why it's acting or behaving in the way that it is. So before we get deeper into this full moon message, deeper into the Sun Squaring Uranus, which is really about the title you see on the cover, Fatherly Figures and the Hidden Tales, I want you to go ahead and hit the thumbs up for me early. I want to say thank you. It's the first time I've been live in a long time. And there's been reasons for that we're going to divulge and get into deeper today. So as you hit the likes and the thumbs up button, obviously, hopefully you're subscribed. If you're my viewers watching this on replay, I want you to go ahead and drop the Leo symbol down below. Or if you rock with Aquarius and you're the rebel, go ahead and drop the Aquarius symbol down below in the chat, in the comments. Okay. So thank you to all my replay viewers as well. All right. So I am going to bring up, all right, the screen so I can just briefly show you a little bit of logical weather as we a little bit bigger. Put myself up in the corner and we're going to zoom in. So we're going to take a look. This is the sun, and it's in Aquarius right now, the opposite sign, okay, of Leo. So you see this big, grand opposite, aka 180 degrees, going to Leo. Notice that Lilith is also there, but it's a little out of range. So this is the first and the biggest thing happening on this event, right? I'm going to explain what that means. The second we're going to talk about is Venus, okay, which is exalted in Pisces. Venus is square Mars. Now, this is a story that has been happening in a different way for a long time. Okay, so what does Venus squaring Mars mean, and why does it have an important story to tell? Well, Mars in Gemini, okay, an intellectual wind sign, which in Gemini we spent a total of 5 months maybe there. We're going to have another 2 months worth of shadow of Mars in Gemini. Mars is officially moving forward. It's direct at this point. And you put this in an air sign, but now you have Neptune, which has been in Pisces. Okay, Neptune is the whole planet for Pisces. It's been there. And this story about, do I choose love? Do I choose intelligence? That's the narrative. And I believe that I put something here. I'm gonna put it up on screen to kind of better paint that pictures. And right here, you see Venus and Pisces in conflict with Mars. And Gemini spills the tale of delusion between love and intelligence by default. So, what this ultimately means is, what is it in order to choose a higher frequency of love? Okay, we almost have to detach or cut through the media narratives about what does movies and our viewing of a movie tell us love is, and what illusions and subconscious programming have before we were even born, because our parents watched movies while we were even in the womb, and their parents did the same thing. Okay, it's almost a tale of really seeing objectively through the Hollywood narratives around what love is and allowing us to think for ourselves because Gemini is I think. And this really matters because before we get to before we get to Leo, which is I play or I create, okay, we have to start thinking for ourselves. We have to start thinking for ourselves. And to think for ourselves, you put Pisces in the narrative, which is saying something more like I dream or I understand. It's like I I understand what I think. This is what the square is about. When you talk Venus, I have some mini notes here about Venus. I'm going to give you some keywords to Venus itself, especially on the polarities of Venus. Okay, so this can be talking about being coarse or refined, intense or superficial. This is the big one right here between Gemini and Pisces. Intense or superficial, intense in love or intense in your thought process, intense about the ideas that you think, or superficial in the ways in which we relate with other people. Because when we talk Venus, we're always talking how we relate with other people. So do stick with me on this full moon message. Hit the thumbs up because I'm coming around to why this matters for the full moon. I think this is going to honestly be about a 40-minute segment, because this week has it's riddled. It's not just about the full moon. The sun squaring, the sun is naturally home in Leo. The sun squaring Uranus, the second fatherly figure. Uranus is the father of Kronos. Okay, Urano is the father of Kronos. Urano in Spanish, that's not the Greek name. I was like Urano, like it was the Greek name. So what this means is like what happens when you get a strong father and a strong father, right? What happens when you get a father whose attention you've craved and you never got it, but you still felt like this is more of the sun squaring Uranus. You still felt like your father was your best friend or a good buddy of yours, right? You felt like, oh, my father is the coolest dad in the world. But there's always been an emotional dissociation that it's like, yeah, but this does exist. This is a little bit of intellectualizing about what that dissociation is. This is a little bit of the square between Venus and Mars. Us intellectualizing, having our own thoughts about in what ways have we dissociated, not necessarily just from the father, but as a consequence of craving attention from a father who was our good friend, or at least felt like a good friend, but instead of intense in that relationship, took more of a superficial approach where we've learned to hide our wounds intellectually speaking. Now, when I say that, if you look into human design, for example, into the gene key sequence, spiritual wounding happens from 0 to 7 years old. Okay. 5 to 7 is Gemini. So, what are we saying? Off the rip, Gemini, Mars and Gemini, we're cutting through the spiritual wounds. Now, we might not think of Gemini as a natural spiritual sign, but you would think of that of Pisces. Oh, okay, wait a minute. A picture is forming. Hit the thumbs up if you agree. So the intellectual wounding is happening in the ages of Gemini, Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. Okay, Gemini is about 5 to 9 years old. So mostly Aries and Taurus. And now this is where we start talking Taurus. You got Uranus and Taurus. So now we're starting to think of where have these fatherly wounds created the Sun Uranus can make a very powerful and ambitious workforce energy, career based energy, modernizing, okay, maybe what the father could have become and how we're taking that, what the father may have neglected as for a traditional Uranus, traditional fatherly responsibility. Many times, if you see in their chart, like I've done readings, like you have a Sun Uranus square, which is the square we're talking about today, taking out the astrology sign, just the Sun Uranus square itself, you would a lot of times get um, a father who that person will have a father who denied the expectations like Aquarius or Uranus would do, Uranian type energy, denied fatherly expectations and roles that the family thought that that father should play, simply because of that square. And what that will have and create within the child is this need to rebel, this need to do something different, this need to express his power, express his will, express his ego, step into a mindset of, I need to prove X, Y, or Z. I need to prove this. So, where you want to really be mindful of, I want you to think for yourself. Did you choose, if you're a male, especially, did you choose a career path that you thought your father would, even if you're a female, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you have this square, the sun you're in the square, did you choose a career path that your father thought was acceptable, that your father encouraged you to take? And it's like, if you did and you have this Sun Uranus opposition, likely you'll find yourself in a position where you're never able to feel enough. And this is where you hear in the spiritual community, oh, you are enough and yada yada. Some part of me is like, ugh. But when we get deeper into why that happens, it's a square like a Sun Uranus. I guarantee the type of person that thinks, oh, I'm not enough, especially looking for, daddy's um approval. A lot of this full moon in Leo is shining light on these unconscious patterns that have stayed hidden, the hidden tail of the father's role in your emotional and my emotional narrative, the emotional outcome. The sun is an outcome based energy. So Leo itself is an outcome based energy. And a lot of times, what happens is Leo in human design has three gates. So if you're not familiar with any of the things that I'm saying right now, or you want to be able to dissect this knowledge for yourself, check the banner, check the link in the comments. It's pinned up at the top. Join the membership. All right. We just did Mars and Venus, and we're going to get into Jupiter next as a planet. So Jupiter is another fatherly energy, actually. So a lot of times, what this can tell, man, I'm cranking right now. Man, God, I told God before I meditated all day. I've been doing breath work, and I was like, God, just work through me. Allow me, the confidence to say what might hurt, but must be said. And that was my mission today. So what I want to say with this is, all right, as you take a look and hit that thumbs up, and if you're in the chats and the comments on replay or live, drop the Leo. All right. If you feel like you're taking back your masculine power, a lot of times there's a lot of several possibilities. It's unlikely with the Sun Uranus square, and what this is revealing to us, it's revealing how real intimacy was not necessarily achieved, especially to conventional means. So this creates a specific kind of person. All right. Let me help you understand what this creates. I'm actually one of them. I have a Sun Uranus square. And so this creates a specific kind of person. This creates the type of leader that comes from the future, straight up. The type of leader that eventually, people with the Sun Uranus square, myself included, is on this Leo full moon. It's the revelation of who will go with you, right? This creates the kind of energy where what is best for people like us is to get to the point where we feel and we accept, all right, that we're not normal, straight up, that we're not here to follow the family traditions, but we're in a cardinal season, right? So it's like we're not here to follow the family traditions. We're not here to follow the traditional role as a father. We're here to take generational planet Uranus. We're here to take the generational understanding of masculine energy. Aquarius is the sun is in Aquarius right now, and it's in opposition with the moon and Leo. This is two masculine energies. but with a feminine touch. Now, when I say that, understand that two there are two gates of Aquarius in the emotional center in human design. There are three gates of Leo in the throat where we speak and voice and communicate our opinions, our thoughts, our will, our ego, what makes us important in the world. Now, what I'm saying is this creates the type of person where the best thing you can really do, what's most cathartic, cathartic. I'm like struggling on that word. I'm gonna leave it alone. That emotional release, that deep emotional release, which the moon is speaking of in Leo, is to admit secretly that we're outsiders. That we're outsiders. We know we're outsiders. We know we have a DNA within us that, like for me, this has been about. I recently came home and visited my family during the same time frame, and for me, what was most cathartic was the last trip I was here 6 months ago, and this trip I was here. Even to my mother, because again, the moon is also the mother, right? And the mother in my family was like the strong masculine presence. I mean, she's a Libra, right? She got a whole bunch of masculine energy all over her chart. And so she was that part of that strong masculine presence. And it was to admit that, you know, all my Pluto and Scorpio generations, 14 to 16,000 years ago, something within that range, don't quote me the exact time frame. This is the time frame of black magic, white magic, mages, okay? Um, magicians, sorcerers. These are people who have gone through tremendous agony and pain by witnessing the shifts of complete chaos in the world. We're talking also medieval time frames, watching war and power struggles, being someone who owns slaves or who have been a slave, okay? This is me. I'm Pluto and Scorpio generation. We're the ones who have brought the magic back to the modern day, as much as that has been erased and eradicated for years. And for me, it was like talk to my mom about mom, like, it's become very clear to me that like part of me, my son, my identity, like I'm a shaman. And it goes above and beyond this. Mom, these past lives, they live through me. I'm an Orisha. I'm gonna skip out the names of what they are. Mom, part of why this, and that was happening in my life, this life cycle is because here are my karmic duties. So what I'm saying is on this Leo full moon, we will gain the courage to start to speak on this is who I am, Yahweh. I am Yahweh. This is who I am. And it's about not allowing what the criticism from likely whoever the father figure is in your family. Understand that the mother can be the father. The mother can be the father if that's how you considered it, or the father could be the father. It matters less. This is energy. And so it's about this whole sun squaring Uranus opposition, father energy at 16 degrees is literally saying, yo, this is who I am. I will not allow criticism or what others might think of me, which is where Leo and all fire signs can struggle. Oh, the heat's getting turned up in here. I'm in the winter. It's been cold as heck. But all right, we must be hitting some notes. You see, I got scars. It's cold out this mother lover. But I just got warm. Woo. Uh-oh. Okay. 1 second. Let me get my banana. All right. So what's most Karthik is literally starting to surrender, admitting that this secret, this hidden tale of the father, what it's done is it's allowed us to embrace that we are actually outsiders. And to allow those that they know or those that we know to discover how distant we really feel. And that's a lot of what this energy is about. We're gonna have to start embracing at a deep emotional level that it's okay to feel like an alien on Earth, to feel different from everybody else, to realize that even if you chose to be exactly like and choose the path that was expected of you, to realize that it's okay to change directions. It's okay to change directions. So from here, this is what we do. This is what we do. From here, we start trying to think about what's positive with this particular aspect. And what's positive about this is at 16 degrees, forgive me on this, I just finished it, y'all. So what's positive at 16 degrees? Hopefully, we have been doing some inner soul, I don't even want to say searching, some inner soul acceptance. Because the moon will often speak about past lives as well as our soul. And so I know for me, with my Jupiter and Leo, for example, it's like I know that my past life has been one of royalty. And understanding that, I understand that in this life, I didn't choose royalty from a birth at a birth as a birthright, knowing that it's a soul right. It's a soul part of the imprint. So what I'm saying is like at a soul level, we're able to, with the moon and Leo, understand what is royal about our personal gifts that we have essentially shined light. What part of our soul have we shined light on that gives us the emotional courage? 16th degree is Cancer. The moon is Cancer. That has given us the emotional courage to step up, to be real, to stay present. The moon is a very present type energy. With what makes us unique. All right, so let's talk about a couple different aspects. Let's talk about a couple different things going on. So what's supporting this energy is right here. Mercury in Capricorn, harmonizing our fantasy to build with a partner in love. Leo was a love symbol. Leo loves love. Okay. This is a lot of why I just spoke everything about the fatherly presence, what it means to have that father there physically, but maybe absent emotionally, how that creates a child that essentially is driven to prove and be ambitious, but never feeling satisfied with, even if they get the praise and validation, never feeling the satisfaction. And what this can look like, all right, and I'm going to get into this what's on the screen. What this can look like is now you meet somebody, let's say a lover, who gives you the praise that you deserve. They give you the attention that you deserve. And we may never really feel that praise get through our barriers, our defense mechanisms, because the moon will speak about our defense mechanisms. And Leo, when we receive attention or praise, one or two things will happen. We will accept that and embrace that from a place of need. And that oftentimes turns negative, okay? For the receiver, the moon, the mother is how we receive. Masculine, feminine energy is how we receive. That will often turn negative, okay? And we also need to see our defense mechanisms to deflect love, to not choose to receive appreciation, to not choose to receive energy from the community. Leo is a community-based energy. Aquarius, the sun in the sky, is a community-based energy. And what is the negative consequences of that? Well, it's like if we can't receive, then we can't give. And masculine energy is a giver. So what are we saying? Our defense mechanism from the moon standpoint is like, hey, here's how we deflect receiving information, receiving love, receiving our community, receiving the honor to be ourselves, to be our will, to express our will. Okay. I'm loving this chat today. I really am. Oh crap! I really, really am. I'm really loving this today. Okay, so when we get deeper now, that was a prereq to this message. Mercury in Capricorn harmonizes our fantasy to build with a lover or a partner by facing sober realities. Okay, so Capricorn is the mental reality that is showing us a very sober, intellectual, and realistic ideal when you apply it to Neptune. But the Neptune and Pisces allows some of the hardness of the earth that Capricorn pushes forward into physical reality. Neptune can soften Cap. So this is a sextile energy. And so Neptune is here to take that persevering energy of Capricorn, who will just embrace repression, embrace depression, embrace suppression. Okay, Capricorn is associated with a lot of uh, dark feminine. Okay, a lot of unconscious and repressed emotions. Neptune and Pisces and the sextile can do one or two things. It can create enough delusion so that Capricorn can relax, rest, isolate, heal, be nurtured by divine will. And a lot of this for Capricorn has to be met by a certain delusion that maybe it has enough money, maybe it has enough resources, maybe it has enough earthly security to take it easy for now. And that's what this transit is doing. So whether that's true or not, um, on the opposite end, Mercury is starting to align with what at the top of the mountain do we actually have that does allow me to take seclusion, does allow me to chill the hell out, does allow me to um, feel like I have climbed high enough to rest in love, to be embraced by love, to actually take time to express and feel my emotions, likely only with the most intimate of people, the most intimate of partners. This is likely not you sharing, your deep emotions with anybody. So that's what that transit's about. All right. Now, as I kind of hit this with the closing message, all right, as I ask you to hit this thumbs up and likes button, drop the Leo emoji. All right. Take a vote in the chat. Let me see what people have done so far. Um, we got 50% no, but I see my mother wounds. I feel stronger with this moon. Absolutely. I see 4 votes so far. I definitely feel stronger with this moon. 1000%. 1000%. This moon, um, I feel truly courageous for what I've already done. So this Mercury in Capricorn, our mind is able to kind of see, and I'm gonna see what's up where. Let me see where it's at. Let me see where it's at. Where you at, Mercury? Capricorn, Capricorn, right here. Okay, so we moved along from the 8 degrees when it went direct. Mercury moves fast. Okay, so we're 6 degrees away from this conjunction in Pluto. Hello. Okay, hello. This is the career and the image. All right, so this is what's happening. All right. This is the mind literally catching up with what heritage and traditions have we just maintained and preserved, right? The careers we chose. And so I kind of mentioned that earlier, so I won't go too deep into that. That was just me getting a little mental catch up. So this harmonizing energy from Mercury to Neptune, it can do one or two things also. It can allow us to see and hear what's being said, but also with the Neptune aspect to essentially seep into the unseen realms of, well, you said I love you, but no, it could be something like, well, you said, thank you, right? It could be like, thank you, with no other words. And this can now be from a person with a Mercury Neptune sextile trine or energy like that. It could say something like, oh my God, I really heard that this person loves me. And it's like, you didn't say I love you, but it's like the Neptune Mercury conjunction can interpret and see what is not really there, can hear what's not really there, can feel what is not really there. So it's like, all you said was thank you. I'll see you later. And the person can feel, see, hear, smell that, oh my God, this person is madly in love with me. And whether that is actually even true or not, this is what is allowing us to embrace a new traditional format of what love is and how we receive love from others. We almost have to go through a delusion of what reality really is, literally create a fantasy so that we can embrace, okay? So that we can embrace, because cardinal energy is new, right? So that we can embrace this new image that we're going to push forward from my generation and the generation beneath me and the generation beneath them to separate, to mentally dilute what is actually real. That's what Neptune and Pisces can do. What is actually real? To actually find ourselves addicted, even. And that might just be what it takes to start to feel through some of the more calloused and, cauterized. What is he called when you cauterize like a wound, like you burn a wound? I think the word is cauterized. It's like the where we have from this Sun Uranus square cauterize our emotional wounds by masking it through intelligence. And this is essentially like I said, 0 to 7 is the spiritual wounds. The emotional wounds happen in more from 7 to 14 years of age. That's Cancer. That's the moon where we're at right now, right? And what happens from there now, the intellectual wounds is from 14 years of age to 21. So this is where we have experienced a pain so deep, so traumatizing, okay? Like this father's hidden tail, okay? The sun squaring Uranus, everything we said earlier in the message, where we now intellectually have been able to fool ourselves, aka monkey mind, around what really happened, an intellectual lie. But with this fantasy of Mercury and Neptune, one that we can actually convince ourselves and that we believe so deeply that we now can convince others. So, with Venus and Pisces, do understand that, Venus is how we relate with others. Venus is squaring Mars. Okay. So what I'm saying is do understand, for me and for everyone listening, what is our personal addictions as for how we escape reality so that we can use this Mars and Gemini energy to use intelligence positively and not invasively, to be able to accept intensity and superficiality and the importance of navigating and flowing back and forth between both, because mutable energy can flow. Pisces is water, air is Gemini, wind. So these two energies are very fluid, and it's asking us to be fluid between, and let me give you some key words. It's asking us to be fluid between the spiritual and the material, being self-sufficient and clinging on, being able to be stimulating yet passive, being able to be passionate yet tamed, being able to be unpredictable yet secure, being able to be tasteful yet vulgar, being able to be erotic yet chaste. So this is the unconventionality that Aquarius brings to the picture. Because remember, I didn't say it much in this message, but the sun is in Aquarius. The sun is in Aquarius, and Uranus is in Taurus. Uranus is direct, and we've been in this narrative for 2.5 years since Saturn has been in Aquarius, where we have felt the restrictions of what contradictory natures exist within us. All those contrasting words that I just gave. All the contrasting words that I just gave. As for how we deal with relationships, relating with others, being able to experience the highs and lows and operate from a baseline in the midst of it. As I finish with the message on the Leo full moon, the moon in Leo is again allowing us to witness in private. This is one of the reasons why I have not been live very frequently lately. It's like looking to really listen to the seasons, understand that this is considered the snow moon. The Leo full moon at this time of the year in February is the snow moon. So it's like the half point of between the winter equinox, sorry, the winter solstice and the spring equinox. The snow moon is the midpoint, which means we have been asked to detach and go private. Okay. If you look at an astrology wheel, the bottom half is where our lives or our planets are private. So Capricorn in the wheel is at the bottom, it's at the lowest dip, it's where the sun is most absent. Now, from this dip, we're at the midpoint between getting back to the sunlight and the lowest point where the sun is gone. So, what I'm saying is a lot of this is preparing us for Leo season. That's why the sun is opposite Leo. So, it's preparing us for 6 months from now. So, what I'm saying is we're able to show out so grand in 6 months from now because of the work we did now, the work we did last month, starting from the 2 months ago, starting from the the winter solstice. This Leo new moon is when that fully manifests 6 months from now. Full moon, the snow moon. And so, if I made any personal recommendations, so fixed, immutable, square at the moment, learning through tension. They all learn through tension. Yep. They all learn through tension. Absolutely. Absolutely. And this has a lot to do with love. When you had that Venus and that Mars, it has a lot to do with love and passion, sexuality, and the drive to build for the family, the drive to embrace what makes us anxious about the future, and understanding that anxiety and the role that the father has played when it comes to taking a more modernized approach to how we decide to secure funds, aka money and resources. Because let's be real, money is one of the main resources that brings us power. And Taurus and Aquarius are fixed energies. Leo, a fixed energy. Fixed energies are about power, and power circulates. It is sustainable. It is sustainable. It is long lasting. It's when I get the dough, when I get the home, when I get the car, when I get the plane, when I get the computer, when I get the resource that allows me to sustain power, I hold on to it. So I don't take it sooner than ready because I need it to last. I don't want the quick come up. I want the come up that lasts. The key focus with this is not taking too long. This is where Mercury is in Capricorn, recognizing we already got it. One of the key indicators of billionaires is where your fifth house is. That's Leo. What really makes you the money is when you turn your hobby, something you love, something you're so passionate to, into a sustainable resource. Yet the line of knowing which hobbies, okay, Leo again, which hobbies are simply for you, which forms of praise and admiration are simply for you, where we do not require external validation. And the Sun squaring Uranus is what's showing us where we have required the external validation and also refused feedback and allowing ourselves to be critiqued in order to improve. Where have we refused to share what is unique about me, to share my hobby, to share something that makes me unique? Or oversharing my uniqueness, oversharing my hobby, oversharing my light to the point where I have lost value. And that's what the Venus squaring Mars is showing. The actions that we take and the attachment to that action, especially to receive, okay, a dream down on earth. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the message today. I said I was gonna do about 40 minutes. I actually got a wedding to go to, the entire reason I came to the States. So I'm gonna go debunk. I want to say thank you for hitting that thumbs up. Thank you for being here. All right. I truly feel like this is one of the most powerful messages I put in. So if you didn't catch the beginning, do watch it. If you're one of my replay watchers, all right. Thank you for being here. If you made it to the end, go ahead and drop a Leo or an Aquarius symbol, whatever one resonates the most. Do understand that the membership just met up last Sunday. It was one of my favorite sessions. Yeah, I feel like it was super incredible. Honestly, it's one of my favorite sessions. Looking to get more and more structured. And with that said, the next one we meet is February 19th. So do look out for that. All right. If you're looking for the tribe, looking for community, and you're coming to that realization on a Leo full moon, which is tribe type energy, okay, go ahead and meet us in private because it's the 16th degree of privacy. I love you all. I want to say thank you for being here. I'm out. Hit the thumbs up. Subscribe if you ain't. Love.